kicks off with the mid-card Mafia in the ring, and Kurt Angle interrupts The Miz after he says one word, and Angle says he knows there was no IC title match at SummerSlam, but there will be one at No Mercy. Miz ran his mouth saying Angle doesn't respect the Intercontinental title, and Kurt says that there's going to be an IC title match next week, and to determine who versus The Miz, there's going to be a Battle Royal right now. The Battle Royal was alright, and towards the end of it, it looked like Balor was in control. It was down to 6 men, but Bray Wyatt came out. He wasn't in the match, by the way, and he eliminated Balor, then disappeared. The ending was Jason Jordan eliminating Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel at the same time, then Elias, but Jeff Hardy came from behind and eliminated Jason for the win. So next week, Jeff is versing The Miz for the IC title. Enzo Amore is a part of the Cruiserweight division now, and he's having his first match against Noam Dar. I don't remember much of the match, and Enzo won. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman came out, and Paul just talked up Braun Strowman being the most worthy contender for Brock's title, and at the end of Paul's promo, Brock grabbed the mic and said what he's trying to say is, "Suplex City, bitch." And this is why Lesnar doesn't talk. Cesaro and Seth Rollins had a match, which was alright, and the finish was Sheamus trying to grab Seth's feet, but Seth jumping over Sheamus's hands, and Dean Ambrose jumping and punching Sheamus, then Seth turned around into an uppercut by Cesaro for the win. After the match, Sheamus got on the mic and said, "We aren't done, fella," because next up is Sheamus versus Dean Ambrose. They had an alright match, and the finish was Dean hitting Sheamus with dirty Ds while Rollins dove onto Cesaro on the outside. Backstage, Mickie James and Emma are going at each other because Emma keeps saying she started the Divas Revolution. Mickie says she'll let Emma tweet a hashtag from her account if Emma wins tonight, but if Mickie wins, Emma has to stop saying she started the Divas Revolution. The match was alright, and then after a minute and 30 seconds in, the match just finished. Emma won with a roll-up. With the very little time they had, they made the match decent, so I would have liked to see it go longer. Apparently John Cena and Roman Reigns are versing each other at No Mercy for some reason, so they're having a contract signing. Angle's in the ring, and Cena comes out first and says this is the reason he came to Raw, but he thinks Reigns doesn't actually want to verse him, and Cena signs the contract. Reigns comes out and says to John, "You're not as big of a deal as you think you are." He says he did something Cena will never do, he retired The Undertaker. Cena replies, "You're right, everybody in the back knows you're the big dog, but everybody out here is still trying to figure it out." Cena says there's people that cheer him and boo him every week, and the ones that boo him want him to change the content of his character, maybe a little heel turn. But when they boo Roman, it's because they see what he sees, a cheap-ass, corporately created John Cena bootleg. The crowd chants yes, and Cena tells Reigns, "You aren't the guy, you're just a guy trying to fill shoes you never will." Reigns says they boo Cena because, first of all, he sucks. Cena goes over to Kurt Angle and says they tell him he sucks, but he won a gold medal. Reigns tells Cena to shut up and says second of all, and then freezes like he forgot what to say. Cena says, "Go ahead, find it." "It's okay, I'll wait." And after a bit longer, Cena says, "It's called a promo, kid. If you want to be the big dog, you're gonna have to learn how to do it." Reigns looks pretty angry and says Cena's a phony and a yes man, and not only that, but he's a part-timer fake-ass bitch. Reigns talks some more shit and says Cena jumps on his bus and only comes to a WWE event if they pay him enough. Reigns says Cena jumps off the bus with his big shovel and buries as much young talent as he can. Reigns says the reason Cena doesn't like him is because he can't bury him, and that he's the one guy in WWE that John Cena can't see. Cena says people think Reigns is stupid, and when he opens his mouth he proves them right. Cena says it took Reigns 5 years to cut a half-decent promo, and Cena says the only reason he's still here is because Reigns can't do his job. Cena says he does part-time better than Reigns can ever do full-time. Reigns signs the contract and flips the table. Then Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows come out. They say Cena and Reigns aren't good brothers, and they need to be taught a lesson by some good brothers. Then Gallows calls them nerds, and Angle books the tag match to happen right now. The match wasn't good, and Cena and Reigns won by hitting their finishes simultaneously. Elias is out to play a song, and it's a parody of Elvis Presley's Hound Dog because they're in Memphis, Tennessee, but the song gets interrupted by Jerry the King Lawler, who's on commentary this week because Booker T's in Texas helping people after the hurricane that happened. The King says Elias can't relate to the audience because they don't appreciate what he's saying, and he brings out Pelvis Wesley, which is Heath Slater dressed as Elvis. I was hoping the Honky Tonk Man was going to come out. Slater gets in the ring, and Elias drops him and hits him with a plectrum. Sasha Banks is defending her women's title against Alexa Bliss in the main event, and they had a pretty good match. And Alexa beat Sasha with a DDT, becoming the new women's champion. After the match, Nia Jax came out to celebrate with Alexa and raised her hand and ran into Sasha in the corner. She told Bliss to go up on the turnbuckle to raise the title. She then put Bliss on her shoulders and stood in the middle of the ring and suddenly dropped Alexa. Nia raised the women's title and then took off up the ramp to end the show. We'll see you next week for the next Rush Draw review.